Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel. We are the Mile High Property Brothers. Today is super fun, a little longer than you might think. We're gonna dive in. We're gonna go for the long haul on this one, almost like baseball, right? Like a full 9 innings plus some overtime, some extra innings. We're talking about the top 15 things. Yes, 15 things you must know before moving to Boulder.
That's right. Check it out, guys. What's up, guys? I'm Eli Schmidt. This is my partner, Will Grimes. If it's your first time checking out our channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button because every Tuesday and every Thursday, we're dropping a new one of these videos telling you everything there's to know about moving to not only just the Denver area, but the entire Denver metro area.
100%. And we're licensed brokers here in the state of Colorado, which means just as much as we love making these videos, we would love more help with those real estate needs. So I'm just popping up below. We are the guys who answer the phone calls, text messages, and those emails. So if we can help you, we would love to. But with that being said, we could have narrowed it down maybe to 5, but there's just a lot you need to know about Boulder, and we didn't feel right not having all 15, right? So bear with us, enjoy the longer video. We'll have some funny movie clips, some B-roll. I'll beat him up or something. We'll have some fun with it. But either way, let's dive into the top 15 things you must know.
Yes, and we've been diving into Boulder a little bit more lately. If you guys have noticed, that's because it just continues to be such a hot spot that people are seeking to learn more information on. So with these 15 points, some of them might be expected. We also try to dig a little deeper and throw some not so expected ones in there. So definitely make sure you stay tuned through the whole list. But starting off with number 1, that is going to be the amount of wildlife that is up in the Boulder area. Now, there is just a ton of wildlife in Colorado in general. That's why a ton of people end up moving here. But if you're living in the majority of the suburban areas and surrounding Denver metro cities, you're not seeing a whole ton of them. General rule of thumb is you're getting closer to the mountains, closer to the foothills, you're gonna see more and more, but particularly up in Boulder, I mean, you've got bear, deer, mountain lion, you've got coyotes, you've got like pretty much anything and everything up there.
Long-haired Homo sapiens with like rubber shoes on.
That's right. That's right.
Walking around
I've seen a few of those. I've seen a few of those.
Crazy stuff.
I'm so tired of these skinny bearded hipsters.
And hey, just a heads up, like depending on your comfort level, like whether you should or should not be interacting with the wildlife, a lot of Boulder and then Nederland behind Boulder is also national park boundaries, right? So there's just some rules and regulations on it, whether you're comfortable with it or not, right? So not only should you have a heads up and keep yourself safe, but in addition to that, just understand your rules and where you're at and where the national park land is.
That is true. And even like within the city, guys, if you're putting very small pets out at night, watch them, go out there with them. Don't make it super, super long. And again, this is one thing, like it's not every day you're having to battle animals or anything like that. Nothing crazy, but it just comes with living anywhere closer to the mountains. Just take a little extra precaution.
Yeah, just have some habits for the evening with your dogs. Don't be complacent to it. Just be considerate.
All right, now number 2 are just all of the different types of neighborhoods that are located within Boulder. Now, Boulder, I think, is unique in the sense that it is very neighborhood driven in the sense of you'll have some dedicated neighborhoods throughout the city, and then each of those neighborhoods have just their own unique characteristics. So if you're going to explore up there, it is important to dive into each of these different areas because they are going to be very unique and kind of have its own little thing going.
And just understanding proximity to shopping, proximity to the university, depending on the style of home that you want, or if you want certain views, it comes with certain weather and certain roadways. If you're gonna be up in the mountains and that's amazing, or you really like that style, just understand, right? Like when the snow comes through, covering your snow as far as like getting it plowed and things like that, the commute down and out of the mountains, sometimes it's not even possible. So just being a little bit more considerate of that and what you're really looking to get out of Boulder, because there's definitely gonna be some pros and cons. Or hey, maybe you really love being by the campus because of the style of neighborhood and home, yet it gets a little bit busy on the weekends. Like definitely some pros and cons to the different areas, but you just gotta figure out what's most livable and pleasurable for you.
Now, moving on, guys, number 3, let's talk cost of living. Now, you are going to see higher cost of living up in Boulder compared to Denver, about 30% higher. The majority of that comes from your average home price. Now, in February, the median home price was $1.3 million. So it just goes to show that, hey, yes, it does cost a little bit extra to get the name Boulder in your address.
And some pros to it, right? Like Boulder tends to be very walkable if you're down in and around the campus or in and around Pearl Street. A lot of really cool attributes there. Colorado's got some great property tax percentages. Like we've got some cool stuff there as far as like those things that will still cover Boulder, but definitely like as far as like price point a little bit higher.
Really good restaurants up there, but they cost a little more.
And guys, it's Boulder, right? So like if there's places to live, we've got some other areas in Colorado that are really starting to get recognized. However, what's always been recognized as far as like Colorado nationally for a long time is Aspen and Boulder, right? So you are gonna have a 30% increase, so consider that kind of like similar to Southern California prices, minus the taxes and other stuff, right? But bottom line is the value's there. Even when we were going through market drops and things like that, Boulder was still pretty much where Boulder's at. So it just, like, again, if you want to live there and the pleasurability, the nostalgicness to it, all those things are great, but there's also value that's been tried and true through the test of time for a long time now. You're going to have that, right? So depending on like what you guys are looking for overall, like, yes, you're going to spend more, but it's not, I think what I'm trying to get at is like a lot of people think, oh, you're spending more on that car, but like Lexus. Oh, you're spending more for a Lexus, but it's made by Toyota. And then it gives the impression that like it's just a Toyota with a different logo.
Right.
But the way Lexus holds its value and things like that, like it's just not true.
It's different.
Contrary to what you might think about cars, and I don't want to get into the argument about that, but what I'm getting at is if you guys look at the data for Boulder, yes, you're spending more, but the value's there. It's been something that's nationally recognized for a long time. You're not going to go wrong by living there. You'll get your money out of it.
Now let's move on to the Boulder job market. Okay, now chances are if you're watching this video about moving to Boulder, might be a good chance that you've got a job offer out there or something, or an opportunity to start a company out there. So congratulations if that's the case. But Boulder is very, very heavy, obviously, in like the tech market. Colorado as a whole is very heavy in the aerospace market. So there's a ton of opportunities around there. There's a lot of competition, but a ton of opportunity as well.
And if you got like a significant other that's moving there for that job per se, but you're also looking for a job for yourself, there's so many different mom and pop shops that you can work at. Pearl Street is amazing. I think Crocs.
They are up there.
Is up in Boulder, like go figure, right? But either way, like depending on if it's something that's big, career moving for you, or if you're just looking for something like working at a nice restaurant that tips well, or these mom and pop shops with boutique clothing, or just different handmade things, or the college, like a lot of cool stuff that's up there for you guys.
All right, now let's go ahead and talk traffic up in Boulder. Now, you guys hear us talk traffic around the Denver area all the time, and you know what we say and what we hear from a ton of people is that, hey, even when there is bad traffic, it is not bad like real big city traffic. However, once you start going up to Boulder, it does get a little worse. I still don't think it's that bad, but it does increase a little bit.
It's not. If you guys are coming from like Florida, parts of California, Chicago, other like big states, like you got, it's laughable. And that's just not me saying that because I live in Colorado. We have a lot of you that move from the upper northwest, the upper northeast, California,
Texas,
Florida, Texas, Chicago, and you guys laugh at our traffic. The only ones that really complain about our traffic are the people that were here, I think, when Colorado was first stamped a state.
Yes, I think
and
so.
yes, compared to then, now it's definitely drastically different, but it's not. Even when you guys go up to Boulder, like it is more congested because you've kind of got one way in and one way out per se, as far as like getting into Boulder. So Highway 36 gets a little congested. It's more so like later in the evenings, definitely like your Fridays and Saturdays, like your weekends, because you got people that are going up to visit Boulder. If you guys are staying in and around Boulder throughout your week and things like that, if you're getting in and out either after or before rush hours on either end of the day, overall not terrible. I've got friends that live in Boulder. I go up there a lot. It's not something that hinders you from not wanting to live there per se.
Yeah, just take a little bit of extra time, guys, especially if there's weather, and then that traffic will carry into the actual city of Boulder. So not just on the highways. Unlike Denver, you know, the highways where the traffic is, but then as soon as you get off, man, there's really
Highway 36 pretty much turns into your main two-lane road. On that side of the street. You've pretty much got like 4 lanes, 2 lanes in, 2 lanes out of Boulder. Highway 36 is pretty much the highway that is both the in and the out.
Yes, yep. And then within the town, guys, you know, you've got the college, you've got locals, you've got tourists that are there. It gets congested, but again, the way Boulder is just chill, like everyone's all good. You're not seeing the crazy road rage or anything. Just add a little bit of extra travel time if you're planning on going there. But outside of that, really not much to worry about.
And Boulder's not very long, right? Like it doesn't stretch very long, like north and south. So that traffic you get kind of coming into Boulder, you've got so many different east and west roads that kind of like intersect with your main drag that goes in, Highway 36 that drags in. You've got so many east and west roads that cross that. A lot of like that traffic that's coming in gets deflected onto these side streets because everybody's kind of going to a different little spot. So it disperses very quickly. It's not like you're driving the next 15 miles of stoplight to stoplight because people aren't getting off to their left and to their rights. Everybody's getting off to their left and to their rights. So you're not stuck into that little like portal of congestion very long.
It's true. And part of that is our next topic, but that's the limited public transportation. We've got a great bus system up there. Boulder is very walkable depending on where you need to go. But part of the reason there's so much traffic is you don't have the light rail that goes out there. You literally have to drive if you're trying to get there.
So just being specific, like the public transportation that coincides within Boulder, solid, savvy for what it needs to
buses,
be.
that's it. Just
for
buses.
The size of Boulder. That you really need. And I think you got some public scooters that are on the sidewalks and whatnot. But when it comes to like public transportation that would take you from Denver to Boulder, there's not really anything there that exists. So like I think you've got some buses, but like for example, the light rail here in Denver that goes to the airport, that goes to different areas, and like the Denver Metro does not go to Boulder quite yet, right? So something to consider.
Now, leading into our next point, you might be able to guess, but parking downtown and within the city can be a little troublesome. I would expect to pretty much pay anywhere you're going to park, unless it is, you know, if you're going to, I don't know, an office building and there's a parking garage or something, you're probably good there. But for the most part, if you're just going to visit and you're parking on the street, plan on taking a little extra time to find a parking spot and plan on paying for it.
And you do have some parking lots that you can park in, and they're also paid parking lots. But if you guys are going like Fridays and Saturdays, if the weather's good, like it does get like a little congested as far as like finding that spot, right? So definitely not the most parking friendly city there is.
Now, Will mentioned property taxes earlier. Let's dive into that just a little bit more. But this is one area that might be a little surprising to you, but Boulder's property tax has an average of 0.57% of the assessed value of your home. So very, very affordable for the state of Colorado. Very affordable, most likely, from where you are potentially coming from.
Yeah.
It is. In Colorado, there's a lot of places, especially new build communities, that are at that 1 to 1.1 to 1.2%.
Right.
That's literally double.
Well, and they're newer, right? Like, and guys, that's normal.
Yeah.
They tend to go down. When I was living in Castle Rock, believe it or not, the year that we purchased in Castle Rock, the year prior to that was more expensive on taxes than the year that I purchased, right? So when they're developing new areas here in Colorado, they've got to develop schools, they've got to develop roadways, they've got to develop hospitals, things like that. So they're increasing taxes for that first 4, 5, 10, 12 years. There could be some increases or decreases in there depending on how much it's being built up, but a lot of that money is to allocate toward the infrastructure of the overall area that they're building. Boulder not only has been around for the longest time, they also restrict building. Like they're not getting bigger. They've only got so many lots that they allow increased building, and as far as we know, there's no new builds per se, and like new build developments. There's some new things that they build out there, but there's no new build developments that are going up in Boulder. Boulder is Boulder. That's also why it keeps its value so well, because supply and demand. Availability in Boulder, no matter what market it is, tends to be a little scarce and limited because they're keeping it that way, which holds everyone's value. Because if you can get into Boulder and live in Boulder, it's like it's something to be said, right? Like, and they do that on purpose. So the benefit there is like you just don't have a rise in taxes because there is no new development that they've got to build an infrastructure for.
Yeah, it's true, and that is actually our next point. It's just the limited development opportunities. Now, here's the deal: if you are planning on taking a lot and subdividing it and building more homes, ain't gonna happen, right? However, if you do find a home that's not historically protected or anything, and you do want to build and develop on it, you definitely can, but plan on a very long wait period and plan on
the permit process,
getting things approved, because hey, Boulder wants things to fit in aesthetically. They want things to fit in functionality wise. They don't want, it needs to fit into the Boulder landscape. So definitely plan on a longer time frame if you are planning on building or developing.
Bottom line, it's going to be a lot more strict, and when you're going through that process, it could be a headache. But when you're done with that process, or if you're purchasing a home that went through that process, you are so thankful for it on the backside because it's protecting your investment, whether it's the home you're living in every day that you want to get your money out of and then some one day, or it's an investment property, whatever it is. It's like great parents that stay on you throughout high school and stuff, and it's so hard, but then you realize how much trouble they kept you out of. And you're thankful for it, and you become better parents for it per se, right? Like, not to comment on everyone's parenting, but the bottom line is it's going to be a headache and a rigorous process and lengthy going through it. On the backside, you're thankful it did because they're making everybody else do that, which protects your investment because it's protecting Boulder overall.
All right, now something that we don't talk about too often, but you might be wondering or making some assumptions on, that is the marijuana laws up in Boulder.
There are none.
No, not true.
Kidding.
Not true. Yeah, you may think that, hey, you go there, there's weed everywhere, people are smoking all everywhere. Honestly, you're gonna smell it sometimes, right? Primarily, if you're like on Pearl Street or something, you're not allowed to consume in public. Basically, treat it the same as alcohol. You're not allowed to walk down the street with a bottle of Jack Daniels doing your thing.
The whole like
Same
open
thing
container
with,
thing.
Yeah,
like, it's
same thing with the joint. You can't do that stuff in Boulder.
I think he's got a nose for it. Like, you know, you guys know he's a drummer.
You're the
in a rock
cop.
band.
You're the cop. You got the nose for it.
See how defensive? Do you guys
saying.
feel?
Just saying.
Feel the pause I'm giving? That's my maturity. That's my composure of being used to talked down to by the public, right? Like that's
Right,
his defensiveness coming out. The bottom line is I have a great time up there. I've got veteran friends that live in Boulder. They have a great time up there.
Yeah.
And not only just Boulder, but Colorado as a whole, right? If you've never lived here, people always ask like, oh, what about the weed?
Yeah.
There's not a place you're going to go in Colorado where you're going to smell it so much or it be out so much to where like you don't want to go there.
Yeah, no.
I can't even imagine when you're going to think about it. Even myself being so prevalent to him, right? For so many years, even it's not even crossing my mind when I go to Boulder, guys. Like, I can't remember the last time I smelled weed when we were in Boulder. Even on Pearl Street, if they're having like a festival or something like that in a park, you might
get
smell
a
a
whiff
little
somewhere,
bit.
but that's
you know, like if Eli's trying to like hit some dude up on like a corner, I don't know. But I promise you, like the last time I've smelt it in Boulder, I can't remember. The last time I've smelt it in Colorado, I can't remember. I think it's like if you just go to like a city park festival or a festival in Boulder and people are hanging out watching a concert in the grass, you might smell a little bit. Like it just never crosses my mind, nor am I ever reminded of it because I'm smelling it so often. I hope I'm giving you guys some depiction of like how infrequent it's actually a thing.
It's true.
Because of the law and not being really a thing to be publicly consuming.
Yeah, I would just say it's been legal in Colorado for so long, it's just almost not even a thing, right? You know, it's just something that, hey, don't be surprised if you catch a whiff of it once in a while out here, but at the same time, for the most part, I would say adult consumers tend to be very responsible with it. All right, now this one might seem a little funny to some of you guys, but recently in Denver, there was a plastic bag ban. Well, not necessarily a plastic bag ban, but you had to pay 10 cents if you get a plastic bag from a grocery store, the gas station, or something like that. Up in Boulder, you can't even pay 10 cents for the plastic bag. You can pay 10 cents for a paper bag if you would like. But really, the state is just really trying to cut down on the amount of plastics that we produce and encourage people to bring their own bags to recycle.
I'm just wondering, like, they still have like plastic cups in Boulder at Starbucks.
I don't know. I would assume so.
Go figure. I don't know. The bottom line is, all jokes aside, like, just be prepared to have like your own reusable bags for your grocery store, or just pay for the plastic ones. I paid for plastic, or I paid for the paper ones. I think they're like 10 cents. Like, it's not a deal breaker. Like some of you, it might affect your day. I would encourage you to not let it affect your day. I think it's all with the intent of just trying to be better for the environment. If you guys know anything about Boulder, it tends to be industry leading with environmentals.
Very eco-friendly.
That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah,
Like
very
eco-friendly, right? Like,
oh, Boulder. That makes sense now because you got the Tesla.
it's not a deal breaker, but it's something that, like, hey, if you're not expecting that when you're going to the store, you might have my face right now. Like, what are you talking about?
I wonder how many plastic bags go into plastic Crocs. Let's find that out. If anyone can Google that information and find out how many plastic bags go into one plastic Croc, man, I'd be curious.
Which is kind of cool. Either way,
Crocs,
I think
you got some answering to do.
100%. And I think overall the intent is good, but it's something to just be aware of when you guys are up there. And again, all jokes aside, like anytime anybody's trying to just do something that's better for the environment, whether it's a small or a large impact, it's pretty cool. It doesn't bother me one bit. Like, I get laughs for the sake of just having some fun with all of you guys that are so awesome on this channel. But all of those jokes aside, like whether it's a small impact, a large impact, it's just great that they're trying to have an impact.
Yeah. All right, now if you are going to Boulder, a couple things here. A, if you don't ride a bike, watch out for bikers and get a bike. B, if you are into biking, I don't know if there's a better place for you to live than Boulder.
Anytime I think of bikers, like I think this. Not those bikes, but just bicyclers in general. Like I have a bone to pick with them sometimes. It could be my law enforcement background. I don't know. The bottom line is they can get uber ruthless. They're not necessarily privy to streetlights. They're not privy to crosswalks.
Although
when it says
legally
walk.
they should be.
Legally they, hence the cop comment.
Yeah.
Wise guy over here, he probably rides a bike.
I don't.
It might not say walk on the crosswalk. they're going anyway. They're on the sidewalks. Like, I know everyone's up there. They're active. They're wanting to exercise, or maybe they're just getting to work and they're late, whatever it may be.
The one good thing about Boulder is that they do try and accommodate everybody. So they do have tons of dedicated bike lanes. If you see a dedicated bike lane, don't take your car in it. That's one of the things I love about Boulder versus Denver. Denver doesn't have a whole ton of those. So Denver, that's what I'm saying. If you love biking, I would say Boulder is probably one of the places where, man, you could bike to work almost every single day, minus, you know, after a snowstorm. You could take it up into the mountains, do your mountain biking thing. You will see a ton of those up there.
Right, and for those of you that might not be picking up what he's putting down when it comes to the bike lane, technically it's illegal to ride your bicycle on the sidewalk, so you have to be in the road, but if you're in the road, you're clearly not going as fast as cars, right? So you're either holding cars up or you're trying to stay off to the side of the road as far as you can while cars speed past you, because people driving their car maybe aren't considerate for you as well, right? So all jokes aside, and being funny about some of these ruthless, like hardcore bikers in Colorado, the bottom line is, like, that bike lane is extraordinary for just kind of like giving everybody their own spot. And you do have a lot of people that just walk in Boulder, so it's nice for them to have the sidewalk and not be ran over, but it's also nice for bikers to be as safe as possible and feel like they're okay to be safe in the road because they've got their bike lane.
All right, now let's talk education up in Boulder. Boulder is not just known for the University of Colorado, which is an amazing school.
Which Deion Sanders is now at. I mention this every time.
Right.
I don't know if the Broncos are going to be good this coming year. We might be in a rebuild. Either way, Prime is bringing some great prospects.
You gonna get NFL or a degree? I want you to get both. I truly do. I want you to get both, because you're gonna be somebody.
To Colorado to play football there should be exciting, even if you guys aren't huge CU fans. Like, it might be good to go catch a game and see Prime in real time doing his thing, coaching football.
I like that. And so in addition to Prime, Deion Sanders, and University of Colorado, Boulder typically ranks #1 for
Boulder
best
County,
school district.
Right, so Boulder County schools, right? So like your elementaries, your junior highs, your high schools typically are, like in Colorado as a whole, guys, is a very proud state for its education, right? Our STEM schools, our public schools do very well. Douglas County, Cherry Creek schools, but Littleton schools. But out of all the great ones that we have, Boulder tends to still finish in that #1 place. So if you guys are there and you've got a family, hey, that's always like nice to have that. If you don't have a family and you're not really overly concerned with school districts, just realize that somebody buying your property one day might have a family. So the fact that it's got that high of a school district, it's only one more boxed checked, I guess, per se, that enhances your value and when it comes to resale.
Number 14 here. I think we're at number 14.
Don't make us count. Math for Marines, you already know.
That's right.
We're close enough.
That's right. Close enough. 14-ish is that, hey, Boulder is almost every single year in the top 3 to top 5 of the fittest cities in the entire United States. So, whether you're a super fit person or you're hoping to like this is not what up in Boulder, by the way.
Not true.
Yeah, it's not up in Boulder.
Not true.
They don't make that up in Boulder. But whether
this is probably too much cornbread and whole milk.
I know, right? That's Nebraska muscle right there.
Sorry.
But whether you guys are looking to move to Boulder to get fit or you're health conscious already, it's going to be part of your daily lifestyle, whether you like it or not.
And there are some really cool CrossFit gyms up there. Give a shout out to like CrossFit Roots, one of the best CrossFit gyms since CrossFit's been a thing. And I'm pretty sure CrossFit headquarters is now in Boulder as well.
I believe so.
Since like their resale or somebody buying it out, whatever it may be, like dive into that. If you're a CrossFitter, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, realize that CrossFit as an organization and just bringing like that culture into fitness and different challenges, it is not only really big in Colorado, but you've got some of the best CrossFit gyms in all the country. Specifically, CrossFit Roots is one of that I know through friends. Really good, but the headquarters is there. There's just a lot of really cool stuff. You're at altitude, you got great weather, you've got these trails, you've got hikes, but a ton of resources as far as you guys finding your own new community of which gym you like to go to in order to like just re-engage into your fitness.
It's true. And whether that's like mountain biking, running, kayaking, like biking.
Another day of sun. What should we do today? Should we head up to the mountains and go mountain biking, hiking, fishing, climbing? Yakking?
Any of those things, guys, weight training, all of those things happen on such a regular basis up in Boulder, which kind of leads into the final point, but that is just how much sense of community there is up there. And we talk about this a lot on our channel. Boulder, I think, has one of the strongest senses of community. So whether that's just, hey, we all live in Boulder together community, or we're all in this community of rock climbers, or all in this community of tech people or software people, it is just, it's very tight up there.
If you need a hand, they'll give you a hand. They'll say hi, like,
Hi.
Hi. Look, it's no secret.
Hi.
Hello?
either way, like, and here's the thing I'll give you guys when it comes to, like, we've talked about, hey, Boulder's more expensive. Hey, Boulder is nationally recognized like Aspen. You might think that, like, oh man, is it pretentious? Is it like uppity because like that's the money of Colorado? There's not necessarily money of Colorado, guys. We've got Cherry Hills, we've got Boulder, Aspen, and
Cherry Creek,
Telluride. There's a lot of amazing things in Colorado,
Yeah.
but everyone tends to be uber casual here. So some of your most wealthy are wearing blue jeans and flannels, and they're going to restaurants, and you might never know. Like, but there is no stigma where people just like have to show that they make something. You might get a little bit in Cherry Creek with the mall. We call that the Beverly Hills of Colorado. It's a very small area inside of Denver, just before you get to downtown Denver. We call Cherry Creek North, but even there, people are still
very
uber nice. Like, you can see somebody driving a Lamborghini, but they're still nice to you. It's not like a pretentious or a look at me vibe that you get. You definitely don't get that in Boulder. People tend to be very friendly. And I wonder if that's correlated psychologically. I'm gonna go out on a limb here to all of the outdoor experience and the fitness and just that making people nicer as a whole. And like, I hope we've gotten a 15 for you guys. If we haven't, let's just give you guys one more just to be safe. And that's a reminder that yes, we also service Boulder along with Colorado. And yes, we are licensed brokers here in the state of Colorado. And just as much as we love making these videos, we would love more to help you with those real estate needs. So that number that's popping up below are the guys answer the phone calls, text messages, and those emails. So if we can help you, we would love to. But hey, shout out to baseball season coming up. This isn't athletics, not a Rockies. This is a Ricky Henderson jersey. Having some fun with some throwbacks, but we're almost to baseball season, which means we're almost to great weather. Hope you guys are enjoying your early spring, and we look forward to seeing you guys very soon.
See you guys. All right, job market. I stuttered right there.
He thought I was going to handcuff.
I did. I felt it. Let's wait till this is over. All right.
That's a great line. Yeah, we're together. You guys thought we were together anyway.